Peter Kavanagh, and welcome back to our teaching series, Why on Earth Did Jesus Pray? I wanted to turn to Luke chapter 6 for this part, and verse 12 is where we're going to read. One of those days, Jesus went out to a mountainside to pray and spent the night praying to God. When morning came, he called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them. This is one of those instances where only Luke gives us this tiny detail. In all, of course, of the Gospels, Jesus chooses his disciples. But it is only in Luke chapter 6 where we're told that before he made that decision, he spent the night praying to God. Once again, he is on a mountainside, so he's most likely completely on his own. We're seeing backstage. I'm a frequent attender of the theatre, when I can anyway. And I like to sit up close. And one of the great things about being sort of in the front areas, you see everything, you know. But sometimes being too much at the front, you actually see too much. And so quite often you can see backstage, or you see a small mistake, or you see things going on behind the scenes that if you were 6 rows back, you wouldn't see. Well, here, I think we're seeing quite a lot of what I call backstage. It's only what happens backstage that makes what happens on the stage work. So we saw this when we were looking at the time where Jesus withdrew in order to withdraw unction or power from the Father. And here we have another example of a backstage moment. In the other Gospels, it just looks like Jesus knows what he's doing, chooses the 12, and off they go. But here we're told that he prayed all night before he made that selection. Now, Jesus may have prayed all night a lot, but in fact, we're only told here that he spent the night in prayer. It's the only time that we're told of an example of this. Like I say, it may have happened on other occasions, but it's specifically and explicitly the case here. Jesus prayed in order to make the right decisions, to make wise and godly choices. And because he's a model of prayer to us, then it seems that we should be doing the same. Before we have to make a big decision, we must pray about it. And you see how serious it was to Jesus that he took the night to pray through all of that. Now, let me tell you what didn't happen in this story to highlight, I hope, what did. What didn't happen is Jesus didn't go up the mountain and pray, Lord, you know that I need to have 12 disciples. I'm going to sit here, Lord, while they come to me. That's not what happened. He didn't say, Lord, have the right people come up the mountain and find me at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. He didn't ask the Father to send the 12 to him. It seems much more likely that he asked the Father to give him the wisdom to make the right choices. The Bible says this: if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask of God. You know James 1 verse 5. You'll know that throughout the book of Proverbs, in all you're getting, get wisdom. This is what the wisdom literature, Ecclesiastes, points us to. Get wisdom. Now, in the charismatic Pentecostal church world of which I'm a part, there's become a real, and perhaps it's got more in recent years, a real desire to get words rather than wisdom. So we want someone with a gift of prophecy to, I don't know, tell us what to do, to call us out in a crowd, or to go and get prayer at the end and someone will prophesy and tell us what to do. Now, I'm not saying that God doesn't sometimes do that. We find in the book of Acts, Agabus, for example, seems to have that kind of ability to know something of the future. Now, he doesn't tell people what to do, but he does seem to have foreknowledge of things that were to come. That's not quite the same as governing their actions. Guidance rather than governance. Now, the truth is that, of course, in the church that you go to and that I go to and the places we go to, there aren't that many Agabuses around anyway. And the Bible by no means tells us to live our life like this, waiting for a word to come. No, we are supposed to get wisdom. Jesus prayed all night, and then, note what happened. He went down and he chose them. I don't think, by the way, that while he was up there that night with a fire, that out of the smoke he saw the word, Simon, and thought, well, I better choose a Simon. Well, and in fact he chooses two. And Judas, well, he chooses two of those. And Thomas and Andrew. I don't think it worked like that. I believe that Jesus received a heavenly download of wisdom, so that when he had to go and make the ultimate choices, these are the ones, because he had, of course, quite a crowd of disciples, but he chose 12, separated them, designated them to be the apostles. It was a big, big moment in world history, wasn't it? He had to get it right. And Luke tells us, as a man of prayer, that he prayed about it before it happened. I want to encourage you that in our Christian lives as disciples, we must make decisions. It's not really that God is always going to tell me now's the time to move house, or now's the time to change job, or this is the person to marry, or this is the church to join, or what the job to do, whatever it may be. God, of course, is gracious and can speak to us, but what we find in the text is that it's actually on us to go and climb a mountain and pray, Lord, will you help me to make the right decisions? So here we have an example in the text. Jesus prayed all night that he might be wise. And so I want to encourage you that you should do the same.